The third and final movie of the Jurassic World trilogy is here, and it leaves audiences perplexed and bored.
They named a dinosaur the Gigantosaurus. Really?
Yep. It's Jurassic World Dominion on this episode of the Finding Good podcast with Kevin and Milton.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of the Finding Good podcast.
Yes.
Before we begin, we do want to encourage you to share, to like, and to ring that bell. We're newer, even though we're in season 2, but we do need your followers and would appreciate that.
Yeah, it'd be great. We're going to talk spoilers on this movie, Jurassic World Dominion. And spoil is about the right word to describe this movie. I mean, it was not good.
Neither one of us really enjoyed this. Even if you go into these summer blockbusters with low expectations, you're like, okay, I just want to be entertained. I mean, still, both of us walked out of this going, okay, thank goodness that's over.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what cemented it for me? How bad this was. That you and I...
There was one moment? All right.
Well, a future moment.
Okay,
where when we decided we were going to do this episode for the podcast, we were going to do this movie, you and I sat here, because we like to prepare, believe it or not, we prepare, and we could not remember how this movie ended. If that doesn't tell you anything, why are you holding your side like that?
God, it hurts so bad. Like, here's the deal. I hurt myself a couple days ago at Quinn's Pond, and there's like a little ledge on the dock, and I was leaning over it, and I got pushed back, and it rammed up into my ribs. I didn't break anything, but it's all swollen up in here, so I'm like, it hurts to laugh, and I knew this episode would be a challenge for me, because I knew I would be laughing throughout this entire... So if you see me wince, it's not because Milton's jokes are horrible. It's because the movie was horrible.
This is what happens when you have to fight grasshoppers that are on fire. You break your ribs. It's like, believe it or not, there were grasshoppers on fire in this movie. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this movie, it's just...
It was one of the best scenes. There were a couple really good scenes and what do you call it? Segments? Action
moments.
Scenes.
Yeah.
Drawn out action. And the grasshoppers on fire was different.
I haven't seen a grasshopper on fire movie in a while.
Thank you. So, it went from like biblical to like, whoa. It was like biblical bonus.
Yeah.
And then also the other scene that we both really enjoyed was the motorcycle chase scene.
Yeah. Which cemented another thing for me as I'm watching this movie, because you go in, you've seen the original Jurassic Park. I mean, just a classic. I mean, anytime I see it on TV, I want to watch it. Great. Steven Spielberg just knocked it out of the park. So dinosaurs are cool.
Sure.
Right? Dinosaurs are cool. But this movie, is it a dinosaur movie? Is it an espionage movie? Is it James Bond?
Yeah.
Is it a political movie?
A horror, a thriller? I was waiting for the animated segment to just, now it's anime.
Yeah.
Or something, like every genre of movie.
Yeah, so it's like they just threw everything they could think of into a big bowl, and they just created this really wilted salad. I did not enjoy eating
delicious.
At all. No.
I was waiting for the make more money-osaurus to come out.
That's basically the point of this thing.
That's all that says.
Can we just throw out a summer dinosaur movie and make a gajillion dollars? And they probably did.
They did.
Which probably means next summer we're going to see another one of these, another trilogy's coming. And here's what this says about me. I will watch it, knowing that it will be bad.
Right? And that's the problem, because like you said, dinosaurs are cool. And I knew this movie, the trailers made this movie look horrifically bad. But I still said, and I'm going to be there opening weekend.
Right, exactly.
Because it's dinosaurs. I mean, they're still pretty cool. But at what point do we start shaming ourselves for feeding the beast, quite literally?
Feeding the beast, which is, I think, because we are the Finding Good podcast. So how are we going to dig deep into this movie to find something good to talk about. But there is an interesting message, right? And
sure.
It's in the trailer. It says, like, can humans and can dinosaurs coexist? And obviously, I don't know what your thought is about, Darwin and, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, we've had dinosaurs on the Earth, right? Yeah. The bones, the fossils tell us that. They're not here anymore. So
no.
there was well, I guess they say alligators are dinosaurs.
Do they really?
Yeah. You haven't heard that? Like,
no.
They're like
the
modern
current
version.
Dinosaur?
Yeah.
They're not big enough.
Dude, you don't watch enough TikToks. There's some big ones out there. I tell you, they are scary. But the whole thing is like, can these two species, can these two groups of exist together, dinosaurs and humans? And that takes me to, I know it's stretching it a little bit, but the reality of we do have groups of people, or we do have relationships that don't work, or that don't seem to be working. And the question comes, as a person of faith, and I believe we should try and be kind and loving to all people, but are there moments in relationships, are there places where we have to say, this just isn't gonna work, and we're just not gonna have this relationship, and you're gonna have to go your way, and I'm gonna have to go my way, or is gonna go bad?
The question is, can we coexist with everybody? And the answer is no. People suck. I don't.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think it can
Podcast's over.
There you go. Done. I just think it's sometimes it's just incredibly hard.
Well, hard doesn't mean impossible.
No. So I guess the question is, do we need to coexist? Not can we coexist. Yes, obviously we can live in the same space. We have to. We're two living human beings.
Right.
We exist in the same space. But do we have to? Do I have to be on the same island as these creatures, or can I actually, and I said creatures, and there's some creatures in your life. There's some creatures in my life. Or can I go elsewhere?
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point. So here's what just happened to me.
All right.
Okay, just happened to me. So I went to a training yesterday. Okay. And the training was on how to take social media and use it powerfully for ministry. So I pastor a church, and can you get the message of your church out there? And this person was talking to us about using Instagram Reels.
Which you've never used before?
I think I may have, but I've never used it intentionally to try to promote some message. And he's saying what gets the most engagements is take your sermon that you're already recording at your church,
sure,
and just clip it down to the iPhone size or cell phone size. Do the word thing, pick a 1-minute clip, and put it out there.
All right.
And because it has to be shareable, it has to be powerful,
short, all the things.
Yeah, all the things. So I said, okay, great. I'm gonna try this.
You're
I've
inspired.
edited video before, and because the numbers they gave us, like they've been doing it for a year, and they went from like 1,500 followers to 18,000.
Dang.
And some of their reels are getting shared like 200,000 people just sharing it. I'm like, wow, that's great impact. So I want to do this too, right?
Yeah.
So I find a sermon that I did, and I took just a 1-minute clip talking about unity. Interesting enough. We didn't do this on purpose, people, okay? And I learned to use this app that they recommended, and you put, and I put it out there.
Right. Feeling good.
This happened about an hour and a half ago. Feeling good. And can I?
So what happened? Do you have the comments?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, before you read the comments, I think we're going to throw this sermon up. Oh. Right. So
the clip, not the whole sermon.
So,
yeah.
Just so you guys have context, let's go ahead and watch that sermon.
We as Christians, as God's people, we are called to unify, not to divide. And if you take a divisive position on this topic, you're actually not fulfilling your calling. as a person of God. It's the ministry of reconciliation that we read about in the New Testament, which is to bring things that are apart together. Of course, us with God, right? That's the ultimate reconciliation, but also between each other. And if I win an argument about pro-choice or pro-life or pro-guns or anti-guns, whatever argument and if I have the best argued position and I put you in your place and I make you realize that you're wrong, I've won an argument, but I've lost the opportunity to unite.
All right, so that wasn't bad. I actually agreed with what you were saying. I don't think there's anything wacky or anything there. In fact, you're promoting unity. Like, let's not take these closed-hand issues and punch each other in the face with it.
Right.
Let's find common ground and love people through disagreements.
And I'm okay if we disagree on something.
Right.
I don't have an issue, and I'm sure if we dug deep into our own personal convictions about political stances and stuff, we may not agree on everything, and that's okay. And I'd love to hear why you think the way you think. And whatever. And I think we can still keep doing the podcast and being good friends. Sure. Yeah. So here's the first comment that comes.
This is hours ago.
Yeah. This just happened. So here's the first one. Let me see if I want to find the right one. I'm sorry, this is too much. Another woke pastor speaking woke nonsense. We reconcile with Jesus/God, which he's right about. He or she, I don't know, is right that we do reconcile with Jesus and God, but I think we're called to also reconcile with each other.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
So
you're woke.
So I'm a woke pastor. The other one, I won't read the whole thing. You know, he quotes Jesus saying that Jesus has come to divide, not to bring things together.
I love it when they quote Jesus.
And he even said, these are the words in red. Oh. So Jesus spoke them, okay? So, and then he says, get that garbage New Apostolic Reformation out. This is a false teacher. This is what the Bible describes as a preacher who tickles the ears of the people.
Oh.
And then he actually came at my congregation. He said, this, in quotes, motivator needs to repent, and the entire, in quotes, congregation. So there you go. So I hope you'll stick with the podcast, even though I'm a New Reformation apostolic preacher.
I think what I love most about this story, Milton, is how excited you were to learn a new trick, and you downloaded apps and you got the video right. You probably spent hours at this. You're like, I'm out there. This is going to be amazing, and just like boom, boom, you're out.
I'm done. My ribs are hurting. I'm done.
Yeah. Dude, okay, first of all, the internet is the worst. We know this. But I think the message that you were conveying really aligns with this coexisting topic of, are we able to find common ground without offending?
Right.
Which is kind of, that's what I heard you say.
Yeah.
And I love that the responses back were offending.
Right.
It's like, take your common ground and shove it. Right. You're the worst.
I don't want to hear this.
And there's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
And so now as a pastor, how do you react? Because I kind of want to punch back.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go at it.
I do want to do that.
So now what?
But I don't. I mean, because in the end, what am I really going to do? I'm just going to create more animosity. Do I have a magic sentence or word that's going to change those people's minds? Probably not. They're pretty entrenched, I would think, in their opinion. So all I'm going to do is just expose myself to more of their punches. And you hit me once. It hurt.
Right, yeah.
I don't need to go there again.
Sure.
So instead, there were good comments as well, and people were liking it. So live in that space, I guess, and let those people have what they do. And I don't even want to comment positively.
You just don't want to engage at all.
Just don't engage at all, because sometimes it's just not worth it.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, let's take it offline and go into IRL.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
So what happens when they're right in front of you? And this happens. How do you engage and continue to coexist when the vitriol is right in front of you?
Interesting that you bring that up, because here's what happened this morning.
Oh gosh, you're a lightning rod for controversy.
I guess so. But this was good. This was good. I want to put that right from the beginning, because I think there's a lot of lessons here to be learned. So, someone from my church reached out and wanted to have coffee with me, which I love doing. It's like one of my favorite things in ministry to do. So, we met, and this person was truly emotional, was truly desiring of a connection with me, and was telling me that I'm finding barriers to us connecting. And it was some of it, most of it was based in a perception of a way I responded to certain things that the person was bringing to me. I don't want to go into too many details, so that the person can be safe in sharing with me, but I realized that this person wanted to fix it, and wasn't going to give up on the situation. And so we had this thing between us, and I just sat there and watched as they genuinely brought their thoughts to me and actually shed tears, and I just said, "This is awesome. It's awesome that we're actually sitting here talking instead of, oh, it's just not going to work out."
Right, yeah.
Right? And I thanked the person. I said, I thank you that you did this, because you've allowed me the opportunity to grow. You've allowed me to make a move towards you that I didn't know I needed to make, right? So I walked away feeling grateful.
I love that you had an opportunity to put this message out on social. You're all excited. And that you had two very different reactions in the same, your coffee this morning wasn't a reaction to your video, but it certainly was an example of disagreement. Treated with respect. And healthy candor, and just honesty. And how different your reaction is as you as a person. And I think of just how I approach a lot of people in this space, where if I get offended, usually I just peace out. I'm gone. And what I don't think about is how that impacts the other person. They feel dismissed, they feel unseen, they feel unwanted. Those are feelings that I am projecting on them. But if I took the time to go to them and go, "Hey, look, this is how I feel. I don't want to feel this way. I don't like rejecting people. I don't like that. It's a defense mechanism for myself to just say, peace out, I'm not going to deal with it. It's my own cowardness to not approach someone." But you had a really true example of like, let's punch you in the face and leave with my comments, versus let's honestly put conflict on the table and work through it. How cool. How cool to see that back to back.
Right. And to see how much better it is to really be in relationship and work things out. It's so much more satisfying.
It is. And here's the deal with when you're, and none of this has to do with dinosaurs.
True.
We always try to connect it to the movie, but let's be honest, we're way into the what is it, the digging, and now we're into the brushing off
deep. I can't even hear the dinosaurs roaring anymore. We're so far down.
But if we are going to exist with difficult people, if we are going to have these honest conversations, and they go south, let's say they go sour, but we still want to show up, and we still want to at least reflect God's love in their life. What are some practical tips that we can do to kind of make sure we're protecting ourselves and them?
Definitely boundaries are very important, that you draw, very precise, clear boundaries with people to say, like, look, we can have disagreements. We're definitely not gonna agree on this subject, but one of my boundaries is I'm not gonna allow you to speak in certain tones to me, or or
I think name calling.
Name calling or posting. If we're gonna talk, we're not gonna do it over texting or social media. We're gonna actually get together. That kind of stuff. You can have those boundaries with people, and then that if a person disrespects your boundaries, they're truly showing you what they think of the relationship. And maybe now you're ready to make a different decision, right? Like maybe this isn't a person that I don't have to hate them. Right. I don't have to treat them badly, but I also don't have to be around them either.
You've given it a shot.
Yeah.
You've identified what's allowed and what's not. And you got to stand up when it's those boundaries are broken.
Right.
I think it takes incredible courage to go into those situations. So I think you need to courage up. And you need to kind of get a little bit of thick skin and be ready to receive criticism, which is, I'm the worst at receiving criticism. That's one of the things that'll make me peace out if you criticize me, which I'm working on, you know. And I think, like, if you criticize me, I would take it incredibly different than some stranger.
Right.
And I also feel like you would do it with love.
I'll try.
But I gotta be able to come into that conversation with some courage and with some humility, and to be ready to try to get a good outcome.
Yeah.
Expect conflict.
For sure. Yeah. And also give each other grace to you know, hear each other out and say, even to the point, not just grace like I forgive you, I accept you, but like, I don't even get how you have this point of view. Right, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I just haven't gotten there yet, or I'm missing a piece of information that's important. Giving the benefit of the doubt through grace to say like, yeah, I still don't get it, but I'm not done learning. I'm not done growing. And if you think about your own, like, I've just turned 50, and I think about what I used to believe versus what I believe now.
There's our dinosaur reference.
Oh my God.
We found it.
Sheesh. Son, conflict. But yeah.
Ow.
We're all on a trajectory, and hopefully we're all growing. And just because I don't get something now doesn't mean I won't get it later.
It's good. And finally, just be okay if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, those are sad moments, but it's true. It can happen.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're done. Okay.
That's it.
We said we were going to plan the endings, and we did a great job. So, glad you joined us. Glad you're with us. Remember, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure you know when new content is coming, and we're putting out pretty much every week. We're putting out new content about great and sometimes not so great films. But thanks for joining us on the Finding Good podcast with Kevin and Milton. We'll see you next time.